process. That's how it works. So to keep that from happening, as soon as you start to feel stress, like, oh no, I'm getting ready to take this trade, but I might miss it, and you feel stress, at the end of the exhalation, hold it for 4 seconds and then repeat it. Do that 3 times. You got no fucking anxiety. You got no fucking panic attack. It ain't coming, and you're going to have oxygenation. You're going to feel dialed the fuck in. You're going to feel like you're perfectly right where you're supposed to be at. That's how you prevent stress turning into anxiety, and then anxiety turning into full-blown panic attack. That's the stages of dealing with stress. If you feel the adrenaline getting ready to probably release the cortisol, and you just can't find yourself to come down from it, and you're looping in this sympathetic nervous system response, fight or flight. There's 2 parts of your body where your vagus nerve, which is the nerve that runs from your brain that lays down over top of all of your organs, okay? There's 2 places in our body where it's closest to the surface of the skin where we can stimulate it. It's directly behind your ears at the bottom of your earlobe. Go back about a half an inch, okay? And first of all, find the point of your jaw on both sides of your face. Put your index fingers on the corner of your jawbone, and then go back about a half an inch, okay? And then go straight up to where you're behind your ear. If you take your index finger or your index finger and your middle finger together, the fingertips, you don't want to do this too hard. Just like if you're petting a puppy's head, you're going to do that same thing, going behind your ear, straight down the sides of your neck until you touch the tops of your collarbone, or at the top of your shoulders, rather. And you're going to do that multiple times for about a minute. What you're doing is you're stimulating your vagus nerve, and by stimulating your vagus nerve, that is the nerve that controls your heartbeat. If you stimulate that, what it will do is, and you're breathing relaxed, that means slow in breaths for 4 seconds to 5 seconds, and then slow release, relax for 8 to 10 breaths, 8 to 10 seconds rather, for the exhale. Your exhale, the key to you controlling your breath and stress and anxiety is that your exhales have to be double what the time is of your inhalation. When you're inhaling, your heart rate increases. Don't believe me? Measure it. When you exhale, your heart rate drops. It relaxes. So if you have a heart palpitation, how do you do it? How do you fix it? Slow, shallow inhales, long exhalations. The long exhalations for a few minutes will completely take away your heart palpitation. Now, if you're having a medical emergency and you're doing this for 5 minutes and your heart rate ain't coming down, you probably should see medical treatment, because you're probably having something that is beyond the scope of generalized anxiety. But I have had very, very high blood pressure, and it was me being fearful of a recent attack of vertigo. I've never had vertigo before. I've only had 1 episode of it, but it lingered over a span of 2 or 3 days. But the biggest part of it was this one big attack that happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was in a constant state of expectation that it was going to happen again, thinking that it was a stroke, thinking it was heart failure or something like that. And I wasn't willing to go to the hospital yet. So I had this period of elevated high blood pressure because of constant feeding myself. What if I am having a stroke? What if I am having a heart attack? And I bought myself a blood pressure cuff. I bought 2 of them. I had 2 of them giving me a reading. And they were very close to one another, but I was getting very, very high readings that should have put me in a trip to the emergency room to get checked out. And then I started applying these skill sets that I'm teaching you here. And then I brought my blood pressure down to 110/60. Now, 110/60, that's fucking phenomenal. Like that's a very good, healthy blood pressure. They want you to have, I think it's 120/80. It used to be lower than that, but I think they're making compensations for the diet they've been feeding everybody. But 110/60, and I was able to accomplish that when I was having readings of 186/120. I'm sorry, 186/115, something like that. There's a few times I had 120, 126, but that's elevated. Like that's an elevated blood pressure. So you want to be able to fix that if you can, because staying like that's not healthy. And in 2 or 3 minutes of doing these breathing exercises, I would drop the blood pressure that I was just describing to you down to healthy levels. So that means that I don't have blood pressure that's prolonged and stayed in that condition. It just means that I was under pressure of stress that was all self-induced by scary what if thinking. And my heart rate was tacking at around 120 beats per minute consistently. So that's doing what? It's holding a level of fight or flight. So I was trapped in a loop inside my sympathetic nervous system. So it was deregulated. So I had to regulate my nervous system. And that's breathing exercises, self-talk, and isolated muscle tension. Those exercises, doing that. And then a 20-minute walk. All those things will combat stress. You'll keep panic from happening. But what happens if you want another skill set? Say none of these, say box breathing, what I was just describing, say that's not working for you. Because unfortunately, sometimes that breathing exercise itself doesn't work. And they need to have an immediate response where they can feel relaxation come over top. And how can you do that? Well, as I mentioned before, if you can find yourself a way to stretch, like when you're in bed, before you go to bed, every morning you should do this. Stretch yourself, like stretch your arms, elongate yourself one side longer than the other, reach your arm above your head on the bed and stretch your legs stiffed out, really stretch out there. And what'll happen is you'll stretch and you'll get this really good morning yawn. And then when you're done yawning, you feel really relaxed. As soon as you yawn, you have activated your parasympathetic nervous system. That means you immediately turned it on. There's no delay there. It's immediate. You're not bringing it down with breathing exercises. You immediately just turned it on. I talked about how, because I'm a dog owner, I'm a pet parent, if you have a dog, you should watch them. Before they go to sleep, you ever notice how fast it takes them? It takes a little time for a dog to fall asleep. They go to their laying spot. They'll walk around several times because they want to smell their own paw print. Their paw pads have their scent glands in them. And they walk until they smell their own scent. And then they lay down. And as soon as they get themselves comfortable in their position, they'll do this. Instantly, they're asleep. What did they just do? They activated their parasympathetic nervous system. That's what they just did. And then they could go to sleep. So if you're having problems with insomnia, which I battled with my entire life, when I need to sleep, and because I don't, and I answered this young man that was on Twitter earlier saying, because I told everybody, I've said this before, I sleep in 2 periods of 4 hours. And I couldn't do that when I was working, obviously. I needed to sleep more. I needed more recuperation time. But because I don't work, I don't have a stressful life. I sleep for 4 hours. I sleep when I feel like I need to sleep. And then I get up, I do whatever I want to do. And when I feel the need for sleep, I'll sleep for 4 hours. And in between those, if I need to take a cat nap of 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that, I will. But I don't ever feel, I'm tired, I'm lethargic, okay. Because I don't burn out because I'm sitting in traffic, back and forth, commuting. I don't work with Carl. I don't spend 8 hours, 12 hours a day. I don't work 6 hours a week. 6 days a week, 7 days a week. I don't work a part-time job in addition. Like, I have a very comfortable lifestyle. So the demand for sleep for me is lower than what it would be for everyone else. So when I say, when you live my lifestyle where you're not going to work, you're going to find that you don't need a lot of sleep. It's actually not good for you to have that much sleep if you're not stressfully burning yourself out. But if you're constantly in a state of stress and you're constantly working hard at a job that requires you to constantly go, you're going to need a lot more time to sleep and recuperate. But I don't have that type of lifestyle, so that's why my life doesn't demand that measure of level of stress, basically. Sleep for stress. So let's do an exercise real quick, and then I'm going to close this. We've done enough today. I want you, wherever you're at, if you're driving a car, please don't do this, okay? But if you're home, if you're comfortable, okay, I want you to sit up in your chair, okay? Sit up, straighten your back out, okay? And then what I want you to do is stare straight ahead with your eyes open. Your eyes are going to stay open the entire time. Do not close your eyes. You can blink when you need to blink, but don't close them. And now what I want you to do is I want you to keep everything as it is. Your head straight, your back straight, pull your shoulders back a little bit, just that way you have good posture. And then I want you to take your eyeballs and turn as far as you can, just your eyes. You're not turning your head. Your nose stays pointing straight ahead. But you're going to turn your eyeballs, both your left and right eyeball points, as far as you can, turn them to the right. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you're going to hold that for 30 seconds, okay? Give me a second while you getting yourself comfortable here. I want to set my timer. Okay, I want to stopwatch. I'm going to tell you to look as far as you can with your eyes open. Blink when you feel like you need to, but keeping your nose straight ahead, your back straight, your shoulders pulled back. Only turn your eyes as far as you can to the right. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you want to wander your eyes around, move them around. Don't. Stay there starting right now. You're going to keep looking as far as you can just with your eyeballs to the right, holding them there as far as you can. It's normal for you to feel like you want to move your eyeballs around. Don't. Keep trying to look to the right. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable. You're not going to hurt yourself. It's not going to hurt your vision. Everything's normal. You got 15 seconds left. Just keep doing it. Keep holding it. Keep your nose straight ahead, but you're turning your eyes as far as you can to the right. As far as you can, as far as you can, as far as you can. Okay? And now look straight ahead. So your eyes are pointing straight ahead with your nose. Did you feel like you wanted to take a deep breath and sigh, or did you yawn at any time during that time period? Did you feel the need to want to do that? If you didn't, it's okay, but if you did, you just activated your parasympathetic nervous system. Now you're going to do the same thing to the left. Nose straight ahead, shoulders back, look as far as you can to the left with both your eyes. As far as you can look into the left side of your eye, corner of your eye, keep looking there as hard as you can, okay? I'm going to start the timer again. Keep looking as far as you can with your eyes to the left. Anytime you feel like you got to blink, just blink, but don't look away. Don't move it around with your eyeballs. Just keep looking to the left as far as you can. If it's uncomfortable, it's okay. It's not going to hurt your vision. It's not going to hurt your eyes. You got 14 seconds left. Just relax and just keep holding it there. Keep holding it there. And you might have an involuntary sigh, or you feel like you want to yawn. If you feel like you want to yawn, yawn. That's how you activate. If you can't make yourself yawn, this is how you can get it to happen. But if you sigh, it's the same thing. You can relax now and look straight ahead. That's how you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. You can do that at your job. You can do that wherever you're at. You just don't want to be doing it while you're driving. You can imagine the complications in driving a motor vehicle while doing that. Okay? So as long as you're in a safe environment where you can do that, you can immediately activate your your parasympathetic nervous system. And when you do that, you immediately turned off the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system. That means you turned it off. Your body will not release adrenaline. It will not release cortisol. It turns it off immediately. In the evening time, when you're ready to bed down and go to sleep, or when you're done your trading day and you're done, you're going to go about the regular things that you do in the day, do that exercise. Or stretch yourself, stretch your arms and your body with the intended purpose of finding that elusive yawn. Because if you yawn, enjoy it. Really, really savor that yawn. Because when you do that, you have immediately activated your parasympathetic nervous system. That means you turned off all stress hormone production. You've turned off all fight or flight. You've completely entered into the rest and digest state of mind. You'll be able to go to sleep at nighttime if you do that before you go to bed. You'll be able to fall asleep faster. You'll be able to sleep more soundly. And when you wake up, start your day the same way. If you don't realize it, when you wake up in the first few minutes of your morning, you probably are thinking about what if this and what if that and what do I got to do here? And I don't really want to go to work. You're immediately flooding yourself with what? Bad, toxic thoughts. And the average person, and I learned this from Lucinda Bassett's book, Attacking Anxiety. Okay, back in 2001 when I had all the anxiety attacks, I was buying everything I could for coping skills for managing anxiety. And she brought up a statistic that I thought was kind of silly when she first introduced it in her book. I thought, there's no way I'm thinking that many times a negative thought. And I was actually doing more than that. Over 300 times a day, the average person thinks about something toxic, scary, or self-defeating. And every single time that you notice yourself doing that, keep account of it and tell yourself, I don't need to think that way. And there's no reason why I should be thinking that way. I'm an overcomer. I'm comfortable. I'm healthy. I'm moving towards success. And I don't choose to be fearful. You're giving yourself self-talk. You're coaching yourself. You're replacing these negative, intrusive thoughts, and you're coaching yourself to think about things positively. You can't have a negative thought when you're expressing a positive self-talk. It can't share the same space. It can't share the same time. So this is what I've done over my lifetime to conquer fear, conquer anxiety. I have absolutely no anxiety. I have no fear at all. I have nothing. But that physical symptom of vertigo, which was a small little calcium deposit that broke away inside my inner ear, it moved inside one of my tubes in my ear. And it tricks your brain because it's piped directly into your brain. The nerve is from your ear. It makes you feel like you're spinning. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, being woke up, feeling like I'm spinning around 100 miles an hour, it's a very scary feeling. And when your eyes start twitching, because your brain's saying you're spinning, but you're really not, your eyes thinking, okay, I'm spinning. And it's almost like your eyeballs are in a spasm or a seizure. And I couldn't see. I just saw things spinning around like I was on a carousel, but it was spinning violently. But after about 30 seconds, the crystal settled down and stopped moving around. But I felt like that was going to happen for days after, all over again. But I've since learned how, if I have that experience again, I know there's 2 specific routines that I can do to make that be alleviate the sensation of that dizziness. It's not going to be pleasurable, I'm sure, but at least I know now how to deal with it. I have a coping skill should I ever have another bout of vertigo. And that was self-inflicted because the day before, I inverted myself about 10 different times in a short span of time. I was doing biceps, I was doing lat pull downs and such, and then I would elongate my back by going upside down between sets. And I kept doing that. And I think what happened was because of the blood pressure building up in my head, going upside down multiple times in a short period of time, it broke away one of those little calcium deposits that we have naturally in our brain, in our ear. And when that breaks off and goes into your inner ear, it tricks your brain because it takes spatial displacement in that little gel that's inside our ears, and it tells your brain that you're spinning when you're not. And it's a very scary and uncomfortable feeling. But apart from that moment, in that time, I had no anxiety. Like I haven't had anxiety in years, long time, like decades, really. But I used the coping skills that I just taught you here today. And I'm certain that if you are stressful while you're in trades, if you do these things, like when you're in when you feel like you're being stressed out while you're in a trade, do that one breathing technique where you exhale everything, hold it for 4 seconds, inhale slow, 4 to 5 seconds. And at the top of what you think is a full inhalation, sniff through your nose the last little piece of pocket space to fill up. Hold that for 2 to 3 seconds, and then slow exhale, 8 seconds to 10 seconds, whatever you can do comfortably. And at the end of the exhale, wait 4 seconds, and then repeat it again. Do at least 2 to 3 times of that. You'll immediately shake off the anxiety. You won't have any stress. It fixes it immediately. And you can do that anywhere. You can do it while you're driving. You can do it at work. Nobody knows what you're doing. It's a very relaxing, immediate triggering of centering yourself and recalibrating your nervous system. And that's exactly what you want to be trading in. You want to have a parasympathetic state of mind where your nervous system is at rest and digest. When you're in a state of fight or flight, if you eat, your food will not digest, because when you're in that state of mind,